my friends. Welcome to FrallaKnits. My name is Stephanie. My pronouns are she, her, and this is Flosstube number 12. It's been about a month, which is probably going to be the schedule that I'll be keeping for the foreseeable future. Getting back into work has been, time consuming. How dare they take my time? And so, yeah, I think monthly is probably where we're going to end up for now. Although I will say that a month from now, I won't be here, as in here. I'm going on vacation. So I'll try and get a video in before I go. And if not, it'll be into May. So yes, thanks. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here and you're sticking with me if you're returning. And I'm happy you found me somehow if you're new here. I am a cross stitcher, knitter, quilter, spinner, reader, and today I have, actually I have a lot of knitting to share with you, more than I think I have in any other episode. And I also have some whips that I've been working on for cross stitch and a couple of new starts. So let's just get right into it. My first whip that I have been working on this last month is this one, Olivia the Forest Witch. I'm stitching this along with Elizabeth at Savory Sewing, and we started it on her birthday earlier this month. As soon as I saw this pattern released, I knew I had to have it. She just looks so beautiful and so like she will kick your butt if you cross her. My kind of woman. I took this card that comes, that the pattern comes in, and I actually turned it into my floss card. So yeah, just punched some holes, added some numbers, put all my DMCs. I have all the fancy flosses. There's some Karen Water Lilies and Krynics there separately, but these are all the DMCs. I was missing 3. Still am missing 3, one of which happens to be her skin color, which is unfortunate because I started in at her head, because on my piece of fabric, I'm stitching this on 28 count Cyprium by Picture This Plus, I believe. And on my fabric, I wanted her head to be in a specific spot. So I started with her head, found out I did not have the color for her face. So here we are. And let's see, can I get some shinies? So yes, I started up here. You can see kind of the outline of her chin. I don't know if you can, maybe a little bit, you can kind of see this is all Krynic in here, and as well as this turquoise has a little bit of shimmer. Some of the water lilies are up in here, and there's lots of holes all over the stitching, both because I'm missing some colors and how I'm, working through it, but also because this thing is full of beads and gems. So here she is, Olivia. You know what? I would love to have this finished before my birthday, which is in August. I have no idea if that is the craziest goal ever, but I do have a Mirabilia that I'd like to start for my birthday. So it would be great if I could have this one done by then. So yeah, Olivia, I love her. She is so much fun to stitch. She's a pretty badass forest witch. And yeah, when I grow up, I'm going to be Olivia. All right. The second whip that I have to show you was, oh, hello. I don't know if you've ever met Toffee. Oh, no, you have. Because, yeah, she sat on my... That's Toffee. I also have Raven the puppy in here, so we'll see how this goes. So, yes, the second whip I have to show you, I'm not entirely sure how many things or what I worked on this month. It has been a month, and I have been terrible at keeping records. So, I've done my best. So I have Saga from Long Dog, and I started it on Leap Day, and my plan was, / still is, to stitch about 500 stitches a week. I've only done about half of what I should have done, but no problem. Like I said, I'm going on a trip. This long dog is monochromatic, which makes it really easy to travel with. So I'll probably be bringing this to stitch with me. So Long Dog Saga, here it is. And I am stitching it on a 40 count white linen of some sort with Silks4u PR121, which is just this beautiful, it's showing up a little purplier than it is to me. It's kind of like a blue with like gray undertones, but yeah, it's definitely coming across on my camera a little bit more purpley. But anyways, here is where I've gotten to. I've just about completed one arch. Yeah, it's fun. It's easy. Well, you know what? It's easy stitching in that it's monochromatic, but I was working on it this morning and I don't know. I think I'm in love. Olivia was on 28 count. I think I'm loving the bigger counts right now. But at the same time, for something like this Long Dog Saga, which is ginormous, 40 count it is. Otherwise, it would be a bedspread. So there's where we are so far. Like I said, I'm just over 1% done. I should be at about 2. But easy. I'll catch up. No problem. Oh, it's looking so cute. I like the very subtle variegation in this. And I showed this before, but I wound my Silks4u hank into a ball using my Swift and ball winder that I use for my yarn. Because there's no big color changes, I don't have to be too particular about cutting off length. So all I do is I cut off, here's all my threads here that I'm using. I cut off like a few lengths and mix them in. You know, I'll take like one strand from this one and then maybe my next strand I'll pull from something different, just so that if there is any variegation, it doesn't pool strangely. Oh, there goes the puppy and the cat. Yeah, so Long Dog Saga. Enjoying it. I'm already behind a month in, but I'm not worried, so you shouldn't be either. All right, so those were the 2 whips. Like I said, I don't think I stitched on any other whips. I might have, who knows? But I do have 2 new starts, only one of which I can show you, because one of my new starts is Garden of Zig by Ink Circles, and I'm stitching it as part of the mystery sal that the Hathaway Stitchers are hosting. So basically, we're all stitching the same pattern, and we are all choosing our own fabrics and flosses, and you're not allowed to show anybody until it's done. So I think we have till the end of May. I have the piddliest of starts, maybe 1 thread. But, you know, since I can't show you, I could tell you that I'm already done. But I won't. So, yeah, that's one new start that I don't even want to say worked on, because really it's 1 thread. So there's that. My second new start that I worked on the spring equinox, I started Spring Fairy by Dimensions. It's a gold collection kit. So I'm using all of the kit materials. I'm using all of their flosses, and it's stitched on 16 count gray Aida. I usually stitch, if I'm cutting my own fabric, with a 3+ inch margin, because I stitch in a Q-snap usually, and I like to have enough room to, you know, clamp around the fabric and not have to be stitching right at the very edge of the Q-snap. But the kit fabric only came with a 2-inch margin, and because of that, I started in the middle just to make sure that I had, you know, the maximum amount of border around it. Now, this chart is on 4 pages, and it's a paper chart. I know that you can email them and get PDFs from Dimensions, but you know, it's fine. The main reason I like stitching on PDFs is so that I can put them into Markup RXP and I can select the symbols and it'll highlight them for me. But I don't believe it will do that with a Dimensions kit. You can basically, you know, I could put it into GoodNotes and just use my highlighting tool to cross off what I've stitched, but there's no way to select the symbols. So anyways, I'm stitching, it's on 4 pages. Because I started in the middle, the middle is on all 4 pages and there's no overlap on any of the charts, which is a bit crazy making. It's a lot of flipping back and forth and making sure that I have, you know, I've got everything lined up properly. So yeah, I started in the middle and I'm working into this quadrant down here. Yeah, so let me show you where I am. Dun, 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 dun. Here she is. So this is part of her dress, and here is some of her wing. There is a stitch that uses a lilac floss and then they're blending filament over top of it. I've never used the blending filament before, and I'm unsure how it will be when I put it in the Q-snap. I don't know if it'll like get crushed or whatnot. So I haven't put any of that in yet, but I mean, I probably will, and just, you know, we'll see what happens. Also, my Grand Guard is extra awesome for this project. Look at those colors. It's just the one that I chose, like that I just pulled out. So yeah, there she is. Oh. Something like that. Yeah. Spring Fairy. So I have my Spring Fairy. I have my Forest Witch. I have a Forest Fairy somewhere. There's a theme. All right. Yeah, so that's, I would say, the stitching that I've done in the last month. And that is because a couple of weeks ago, I went to a fiber arts retreat, and it was full of knitters and spinners and weavers and felters, rug hookers. Basically, if you could do it with fiber, it was there. And I've been to this retreat previously, and the last time I was there, I brought my spinning wheel. So I thought that's what I was going to do this year. However, last minute, I was like, you know what? I just want to be able to sit. So the way they had it set up last year is they had a circle of chairs with all the spinners and weavers were in that circle, just sitting on regular, you know, banquet chairs. And the knitters were kind of off to the side on some couches. I'm like, Mama want to be on those couches this year. Not that you couldn't go there. Like, you know, it's not like it's segregated, but when you're spinning on a wheel, you kind of want to be up a little higher. And anyways, I thought, you know what? I could just use a weekend curled up on the couch and knitting. So I decided to bring my knitting with me. I brought, I don't know, like a dozen whips, knitting whips, and I left the bulk of my needles at home, telling myself I will not be casting anything on. I will not start anything new. I will just work on my whips, and I've got lots of time for visiting and all that jazz. So the first whip that I worked on was Glenan, which is a Kate Davies pattern. It's like a vest, a sleeveless sweater with a hood and cables. I started this on my trip to, I bought the yarn when I was in Scotland last year. And I know I've shown it as a whip before. So I'm knitting it in this Tweedy yarn that's from like a local mill. Just beautiful. It's a double knitting weight, 100% pure new wool. And yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous. And so this is also showing up a little more, it's got like that purpley undertone. It's more teal in person. It's closer to this in person. Weird. Anyways, this is what I'm knitting on. And here is where I am. It's bottom up. this is where I started the fiber, where it was when I started on my weekend away. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I am doing this without a cable needle, except for this ginormous cable. It's a 6/6, and I don't believe I am brave enough to do that without a cable needle. Yeah, so I was working on this on the Friday night when we got there, and after having to drop down and repair some missed cables and whatnot, I decided to put it away because brain was getting tired, and I pulled out the second thing I started working on. I thought, well, if cables are not what I can get done while I'm chatting and getting tired and all that, why not a crazy colorwork sweater? Also by Kate Davies. This is Hendricks. I got it as a kit from her website, so it's all in her yarn. Let's see. Do I have a ball of it? More than likely. Rustle, rustle, rustle. So this is her yarn. It's a single. It's called, oh gosh, Milwaukee Tweed. And the fiber content of this is 70% wool, 30% mohair. And so I pull my sweater out to work on, and this woman comes by and says, "Oh, that is so beautiful," because, you know, it is. "Weren't you working on that last year?" Yes, I was. Oh, goodness. So anyways, I worked on this Friday after I put down the cable, and can I even get it all in? So this is also knit bottom up. And I will say that here's my steek. Oh, don't lose. Nope. Losing. There we go. Okay, this is my steek for the armhole. So you knit it bottom up in the round, and then at the underarm you put in steek stitches. And I was just starting the steek stitches. So really I got all this green and pink done. So, I mean, the bulk of this knitting, this is a super oversized sweater. The bulk of the knitting is done. And yes, I was working on it last year's retreat. But it's a lot of fun. I love it. The yarn is funny. When I first cast this on, I think I was allergic to something in it, the mohair or something, but I kept on getting like really congested whenever I would work on it. And so I put it away for a while. Part of the reason that it was a year ago, or still, you know, I'm still working on this a year or two later. And then I've mentioned before, I broke my hand last year. And so I would knit colorwork two-handed, one color on each. And that was not possible with a broken hand. Right. So like I said, I brought a bunch of whips with me to our fiber arts retreat and didn't bring many needles because I was not going to cast anything on. But then on Friday, a shawl walked by me. Danger, danger. Oh my goodness. A shawl walked by, and I mean, it was attached to a human. The human's name was also Stephanie. So obviously I needed the shawl that she was wearing. All right, new cast on number 1, Campfire Cozy. This is by Espace Tricot, and it is ginormous, and it looked amazing on Stephanie. Hers was like this dark green color. So I was there with a friend, and we see the shawl walk by, and I said, "Oh, I need that." And so we go on Ravelry and are just like searching in the patterns, trying to find the right search terms. And my friend thought that maybe she had the pattern and it was free previously. And so anyways, we eventually found it, and it was in a 10-pack of patterns from Espace Tricot for like $7.50 for all 10 shawl patterns. So I bought the set, and immediately knew I needed to cast this one on. And later, the lovely Stephanie, who was wearing this, who was the awesome enabler, came by and did confirm that yes, it's the Campfire Cozy, and it's delightful. So we went to the retreat I was at, was hosted by a company called Sisterhood Fibers, and they have a store in Truro. Oh, I should say the retreat was in Debert, Nova Scotia, for anyone who knows, you know, maritime geography in Canada. It's just north of Halifax. And so that's where the retreat was, and just by there is a city town named Truro where Sisterhood Fibers has a shop. So my friend and I went to the shop and I found this delicious yarn. It is by Louisa Harding, and this is 50% alpaca and 50% wool. And oh my goodness, it's going to be so warm. It's so nice and soft, and I am in the middle of a row because that's how I roll. And this is how much I have gotten done. So you start in the middle and you increase out. So it started with a garter section. Now I'm on this lace detail. And then after the lace, garter is been folded in up there. Here's the lace, then there's another garter section, some stockinette, and then a ribbed border. And this is going to be a blanket, and I am here for it. I think it's going to be my new work cozy because it's so cold there. But yeah, so here's the lace. It's pretty easy. It's a four row repeat. And yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm knitting it at work. And like I said, it'll probably be my new work cozy. So I'm really enjoying it. I dropped my ball. So that's what I have left of the first ball. I can't remember how many I bought. 6, 7? It's a lot. So yeah, Campfire Cozy. That was new cast on number 1. Number 1, you say? Yes, because there is more than one. Best laid plans, people. Best laid plans. So I said that this came from, I bought a 10-pack of shawl patterns, and I, of course, had to cast another one on from in there. So when we went to Sisterhood Fibers, I got yarn for this as well. So also by Espace Tricot, this is the Saint Laurent shawl, and it's done with 2 colors. So there we go. So contrasting colors, it's all lace, and I just thought that looks fantabulous. So while I was at the store, I found these. Now this is really cool. I have never seen these before. It's from the Queensland collection, so out of Australia. Dungarees. It's made from recycled jeans. What? So cool. So they're 95% cotton, 5% other fibers. It doesn't actually say what they are. But yeah, so they're made from old jeans, which is pretty cool. I am not a fan of knitting with cotton because there's no stretch, and I don't find it very comfortable to knit with. But I thought that this shawl would look great as a summer shawl. Cotton, great in the summer. So I got these 2. And I only have a small start on this because, I mean, I'm really loving my other things. But yeah, so here's where I am. This might be something fun to bring on my trip to knit on, because I believe this is all it is. You just go and go and go and go. And so I'm working with the lighter color right now. I got 2 balls of each. So I just basically knit a big triangle, and then once I'm done with the lighter color, I believe I pick up in all of these holes to knit the darker color. It's either those holes or these holes. You pick up in some holes and end up knitting the whole shawl. But yeah, this is, I mean, it's knitting with cotton. Words. It's not terrible. It is nice and soft, but like I said, cotton doesn't have the same stretch that wool does. And so I don't find it as comfortable to knit with, because getting your needles in, you know, it can be a little fiddly. All right, cast on number 2, because there is a third one. Okay, so yes, Friday I saw the Campfire Cozy, which led me to cast that on Saturday. And in buying that pattern, I bought the Saint Laurent pattern. It came in the same bundle, so I also cast that on Saturday. Sunday, we were there just in the morning, and I was, you know, packed up, ready to go. And then in walked someone. Actually, no, that's a lie. I walked in after them, and they weren't wearing this coat. It was hanging over the back of their chair. Oh, oh my goodness. Okay, so the woman's name is Katie, and she knit it in, I believe it was like a gray and kind of a smoky blue. So pretty. Oh my goodness. I was like, I need that. So this is from Vogue Knitting, the early fall. So I'm trying to read backwards. Early fall 2019, the Amber Leafy coat. I found this on the Vogue Knitting website, and it was free. Now, I looked on Ravelry at other people's projects, and there's a lot of complaints about the charting and just that this is a very difficult knit because the pattern's not fantastic. I will say this is my second brioche project. I am not a brioche expert by any means, but I am an expert at following directions. And so I just dove in with all of my feet and both of my hands, and yeah, cast it on. It was a bit tricky at the beginning. However, now that I'm in the rhythm, it's just like reading a chart. And yeah, there are some mistakes in the chart, but once you know, if you can read your knitting and you get into kind of like what this is going to look like, the mistakes in the chart, they will be glaring, and you'll be like, ah, that's what I need to change. Okay, so I ended up getting the yarn for this from my local yarn store. And this is Briggs & Little Heritage, which is spun here in New Brunswick. And I love this yarn. I love this yarn. It's 100% wool. It's scratchy and delicious and wonderful. And when I came across the country to buy my house, I, of course, had to check out the yarn store. And I asked them, I want some local yarn that I can make a shawl, which I don't have here. It's downstairs. But so I could make a shawl to kind of commemorate my first time in my new city. And they recommended Briggs & Little as being local, and I love it. So I went to the yarn store. I think I was out at some appointment with my youngest, Isaac, and I kind of kidnapped him to go to the yarn store with me on our way home. And so he actually chose out these colors. So this is Mulberry. There you go. You can kind of see the heathering in there. Beautiful. And this one is Red Heather. Oh, you can see all the Vegemite still in there. I love it. I love rustic yarns. So together, they're gorgeous. I loved it. I mean, he just picked them off the wall. Awesome. But, you know, there's some of the purple in the red, and there's some of the red in the purple, and it's marvelous. And here we are. So this is going top down, unlike my other two garments that are bottom up. So here's the front left. And then we have a sleeve. And then the back is marvelous. I love it. Brioche is so much fun, is so squishy. And here is the other sleeve. And the right front. So yeah, this is wonderful. I am knitting, I think it's the middle size. Did I swatch? No. No, I didn't. Should I have swatched? Absolutely. However, I didn't want to. I wanted to cast it on. And also, I have a hard time measuring brioche gauge, especially in this pattern. I mean, making excuses, but that's fine. But I cast on a size larger so that this will be like a nice coat. Yeah, gorgeous. Amber Leafy coat from Vogue Knitting. So that was all thanks to my fiber retreat. The woman who was wearing, or whose chair was wearing this sweater, was actually the one who called me out on knitting on the same sweater last year. And so I told her I will have that sweater finished for next retreat. I will have the Leafy jacket finished for next retreat. And I will have my Campfire Cozy finished for next retreat. Next retreat is in November. They've decided to go twice a year now. So I have, what is it? It's almost April, May, June, July, August, September, October. So 7 months. Yeah. We'll see. Great, great dreams, right? It's fun. No one gets hurt when there's more whips. Yeah, so that is what I've been crafting on. What else has been taking up my time? Lots of reading. Also board games. I got a recommendation from my friends at Uplift Stitches, who, if you're not watching, you need to. They're a couple and are just, Uplift Stitches is perfect. It is joy watching them. They are very uplifting. But they also have a segment on board games. And I had asked them about a recommendation for a co-op game, and they recommended Spirit Island, which I got from my local board game store. And, you know, slowly learning the rules, but really enjoying it. I've played with one of my kids. I've played with my partner. You can also play this game solo, which is amazing. And I also downloaded, there's an app version of the game that I've been playing on my iPad, which actually has been a great way to kind of learn some of the abilities and, you know, some of the rules, because the app takes care of a lot of the, you know, tracking of things and kind of tells you how you can do things. So that's been a lot of fun. So yeah, I've been playing a lot of Spirit Island. And I've been watching Flosstubers, because that's what we do. So some that I've been watching that I wanted to kind of say, thank you for being enablers. Thanks for being part of this with me. Thanks for being my buddies sitting, you know, you sit on my iPad on the arm of my couch while I'm stitching or knitting or whatevering away. So, like I said, I am doing the Secret Sal with the Hathaway Stitchers. That's Amity and Aaron. They are hilarious. I literally laugh out loud while I'm watching them. Their stitching is fantastic. Amity just released some patterns of her own designs, which are gorgeous. So yeah, they're a lot of fun. They feel like, you know, they're my stitchy besties sitting on the couch with me. Other stitchy besties, Stephanie and Allison from Cross Stitch the Globe. I'm sure everyone knows of them. They've been doing some great Flosstube extras about most expensive and most popular, and they now have a Flosstube University series coming out for basically how to start stitching from the ground up, because Stephanie just well, actually, the two of them have opened a Etsy store. Stephanie has full coverage patterns of her own travel photography, and they are gorgeous. And I'm hoping, hey, Stephanie, have you ever been to one of my favorite places to travel is Norway? Have you ever been to Norway? Do you have Norway travel photos? I sure hope you do, and I sure hope there are some coming down the pipes, because I will buy and stitch and model stitch and all of the things, all of them. If not, you know, that's cool too. I guess you don't have to do all the same stuff as I do. Uh, so yeah, Stephanie has patterns. Allison is making needle minders. So they're selling them in their store on Etsy. I've also been watching Jen's Fiber Web. She is a stitcher knitter as well. She just put out, in the last month, since my last video, she put out a whip parade of all of her yarny projects. So her knitting and crocheting. And it was great to see because I also have a lot of yarny whips. I mean, I just showed you 5 here. And so, yeah, it's nice to see what other people are knitting, and that similar to cross stitch, they aren't just a, you know, I dream of finding a pattern, getting the perfect yarn, stitching it, knitting it from start to finish, blocking it, wearing it, but that doesn't happen, you know, because squirrels. So yeah, she had a knitting whip parade, which was amazing. And in her most recent video, she mentioned that she fell off the sock madness bandwagon, as I have also done. I just, you know what? Sock madness, it got me back into the knitting, and then my retreat got me further into the knitting. But I am a lover, confession time, I am a lover of vanilla socks. I love a good German sock yarn, like an opal, you know, those really hard wearing sock yarns. I'm not a fan of merino for my socks. I want my socks to be work socks. I wear them in my Blendstones all the time. They do wear out in the heels, and I will darn them. But yeah, I just like fun yarns. The yarn does all the work. I just mindlessly knit stockinette around and around and around and around. So yeah, sock madness is fun in that I get to learn some new techniques. But at the end of the day, I have other projects like brioche. I mean, that's a technique that I'm, you know, just getting back into. Like I said, I've done one shawl before. And so it's, you know, it was distracting and I felt like I had to do it, and I didn't want to do it. So I let that go so I can knit on the things that I, you know, have going that I love. And I also have room for stitching and reading and doing this and, you know, all that fun stuff. So yes, we both fell off the sock madness bandwagon, and we survived. I've also been watching Carrie and Caroline on their Evertotes channel. They're great. I don't know if I've talked about this on this channel, maybe, but Carrie is, she may not even know this. Carrie is the reason that I got back into stitching. So I was a stitcher as a kid, as I think most people who introduced themselves on Flosstube were. They, you know, started stitching, and then usually it's, you know, life, university, kids, all the things that take up your time. And then, you know, we eventually come back to it because we enjoy it and it's fun and wonderful, and there's a community of people just like us. So I originally was watching Carrie on her knitting YouTube channel because I was mostly a knitter. FrallaKnits, that's where the name came from, mostly a knitter. And on one of their episodes, Carrie brought in some cross stitch, and it was a Halloween pattern of some sort. And I was like, oh, right, cross stitch. Yes, I absolutely used to do that and enjoy it. And it's like paint by number, like it's perfect. And that kind of got me, I'm going to go pick up, you know, some supplies. Geez, all I had done really before were like dimensions kits, well, just any kits. And so like the idea of kitting up my own thing was kind of new and cool. And here we are 100 whips later. Yeah. So anyways, watching them, Caroline is having a, birthday sale, and they released the pattern. It's, by Gigi of the Artsy Housewife, called wildflowers and weeds and wildflowers. There's a butterfly and flowers, and it's done up with Roxy floss, with Roxy linen, and I want it. So I've ordered that, and it will be, I think it's shipping at the end of May to start for Caroline's birthday in July. So that'll be coming. I've also, of course, been watching Elizabeth at Savory Sewing. We are stitching Olivia together. She's fantabulous. She is my inspiration to possibly one day finish some stitches. She gets, the number of stitches she gets is, the number of finishes that she gets is just awesome. She is prolific and fun to watch, and, you know, stitches a lot of the same stuff that I do. Yeah, you should go watch all these people. I'm sure you are. They all have so many more, you know, watchers than I do, which is fine. But yeah, if you aren't watching them, what are you doing? Go see them. They are all fantabulous enablers, fantabulous crafters, and yeah, I just love being able to put myself beside them as, hey, I'm like them too. Yeah, so that's it for now. Miss Raven came to say hi. Hello, Raven. Oh, who's that? Oh, yes, hello. Yeah, that's about it for me. Like I said, I will hope to be back sometime before we leave in the middle of April. If not, have a good month. I will be back in May. More than likely. We'll see what I get done. Like I said, we're going away, so maybe I'll be bringing this shawl, and maybe I'll be bringing this project, and maybe I won't. Who knows? Maybe there will be more new starts. Yeah, so enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Easter if you celebrate. I should say today is the Saturday of the Easter weekend. I hope the Easter Bunny was good for you. Yes, hello. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.